UFC 316 is this weekend, and I am back with the full card predictions. If you've been watching this channel for a little bit, first of all, thank you. But you would know that this is what I do. All right, I do these um, full card predictions, not full card because some of these fights I just don't give a fuck. Like this Marco Maderos, we're skipping you, buddy. Quillen Sellekield, I don't care about him. Now this is the people's main event right here. Jekka Sergey versus Ju Sang Yo. I'm gonna go with Ju Sang Yo by finish. I don't really know much about Ju Sang Yo. He somehow has no reach at all. I don't know how that works. Having a 69-inch reach disadvantage is pretty prominent, but I still think he's going to be able to finish Jekka Sergey. I mean, just look at Jekka Sergey, bro. Just look at him. Okay, he's gotten finished by Shao Jubli and Weston Wilson. So that should tell you enough about who Jekka Sergey is and his place in the UFC, which is just to get crushed like a can. Moving on. Ariane Lipsky, or now Ariana Da Silva, versus Wang Kong. I'm going with Wang Kong here. It's pretty self explanatory. She's actually good, and she actually cares, and she looks good, and she knows how to fight. I think she's going to keep it on the feet and just knock out Ariane Da Silva, or just put on a really impressive clinic against her. I just think the striking difference is too much. Wang Kong here. I'll do like a second round finish. All right. Moving on. Chaos William versus Andreas Gustafsson. Now, there's a bit of hype with Andreas Gustafsson, the brother of Alexander Gustafsson. Is that his name? You know who I'm talking about. But I don't think he's gotten this one against Chaos Williams. Gustafsson is like kind of a marauder. He is kind of a BST type of fighter where he kind of puts it on you, moves forward, entering the pocket, kind of swinging, breaking with pressure and volume. I don't think he's going to be able to implement that game against Williams. He's just going to eat too much power shots coming in. And I feel like at some point he's going to take one and he's going to get folded. So I'm going with Chaos William by second round finish. All right, moving on. Sergey Spivak versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Look, I know Waldo is kind of like, he's got a little bit of momentum. He's moving up in the division, but he's fought only like retards and bad fighters and old fighters. He hasn't fought anybody good. His best win is Ryan Spann. Why the fuck was Ryan Spann ever a heavyweight? How stupid do you have to be, Ryan Spann? I, I don't know how Waldo or Cortez Acosta is on the streak. He's not good. He's good at, he's kind of like he does a little bit of everything, and he just kind of does a little more against his opponents. He wins, but he's just not great anywhere. And I feel like in this matchup, you kind of have to be really good on the feet to beat a Sergey Spivak, or you have to have equivalent, be like kind of as skilled as Spivak, but have way more athleticism and training and steroids, like somebody like Gelton Almeida. All right. Um, I think Spivak is going to be able to implement the grappling, and I don't think Waldo is going to be able to stop Sergey on the feet. Like, yes, he's better on the feet, but I don't think he's going to do enough to like be able to hold Sergey. Sergey is going to get his hands on him and get the finish. I think like a second round, first round. I'm gonna go first round submission. I can see like an arm triangle, something like that. All right, moving on. Azamat Murzakanov versus Brendan Ribeiro. Now, Azamat Murzakanov, okay, he's actually kind of good. He's kind of like Dustin Jacoby in the way he strikes. He's old. He looks like he'd be garbage, and he's kind of like blobbish, but he's strong, he's fast, and he's technical. Okay, Bredesen Ribeiro is being set up here, and honestly, actually, before we go deeper, let's just mention that Johnny Walker was supposed to fight Azamat Murzakanov on this card, and now he's fighting Jang Mi Young at UFC Shanghai, which is fucking crazy. Who the fuck is Johnny Walker's manager, and why do you have a hit? Is Johnny Walker's manager on Johnny Walker's life insurance or something? Because how the fuck are you gonna book him against Azamat Murzakanov and Jung Min Young back to back? Like, what the fuck? What are you doing here? All right, but I just see Azamat Murzakanov knocking him out. Brendan Ribeiro isn't that level. Um, like there's levels to this, and Azamat Murzakanov is just better. I see him getting a a decision. Azamat Murzakanov by decision. Moving on. Now, this is a good fight. This is a fight that I actually like care about. Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. This one's a fucking banger. Okay. This is a kind of like a litmus test for Joshua Van because Bruno Silva is not as good as Joshua Van on the feet with the striking. Like Joshua Van is a lot more technical, and his strikes just look so much better. But Bruno Silva has that punch. So I was kind of watching back that Manel Cop fight. Two things I noticed. One, Manel Cop had success with weapons that Joshua Van would have success in. And two, Bruno Silva landed a good amount on Manel Cop. Like it was kind of competitive in the first round. And I feel like if Silva lands some of these shots that he would land on Joshua Van, he would hurt Joshua Van. Okay? They have a similar reach. And the way Joshua Van fights, he kind of does put himself in the fire. He just kind of out techniques you within the pocket, but that leaves him open to a big counter by Bruno Silva. All right? I do think that Joshua Van, I'm very tempted to go for the underdog pick of Bruno Silva because these odds are crazy. Bruno Silva plus 470. Joshua Van, look, I love him, but he should not be minus 650. I could totally see Bruno Silva getting like he's getting beat up a little bit. He just wings the overhand and then like chins Joshua Van, like hurts him and then puts him away. I could totally see that. But Joshua Van is the right pick. He is the more consistent uh pick. I think like Bruno Silva, it's like he has a chance to win, where Joshua Van most likely will win. So I'm going with Van by decision. Um, yeah, man. Unless and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think Joshua Van will win. He has a good right hand. That front kick to the body is good as well. I just think he'll be able to pull it out. Moving on to the main card. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. Why is Kevin Holland a favorite? Why is he minus 270 here? It should be like he should be a slight favorite. I don't know what the odds makers are doing on this card. There's some crazy odds on this card. Holland, look, bro. Holland coming off of a win is like a 40% of himself. Okay, if Holland was coming off multiple losses, he kind of locks in a little bit. He's like a 75% of himself. But he's coming off a win against Gunnar Nelson, so they're moving him up the rankings, fighting Luque. Look, man, both guys are not that good because Luque's gonna have out his prime and Holland just doesn't try. But I really don't see how okay, I do see how Holland's gonna win this, but I don't think he'll win like that. I think at a certain point when Holland is coming off a win, you just gotta know that, oh yeah, he wants he wants that 27-14 record. Right now he's got like a more than 66% win rate. He wants to change that. All right. Holland is gonna I could say, oh yeah, he's gonna jab him, keep Luque on the outside, but he will do that, and then Luque will start landing, and Holland will be like, oh, I don't care, these don't hurt, and Luque would just be able to rack up points and win that way. Okay, Luque, he has the leg kicks, he has the offensive wrestling. They both kind of have a good darce. I don't see a finish in this fight. I do think that Luque will be able to chop that leg, move, plot, get him to the fence, maybe go for a wrestling, try to take him down just to stack up some points. I don't think Holland is gonna sub Luque. Like, do I really see fucking Holland putting Luque in an armbar? Like, no, dude, I don't see that at all. I think I'm gonna go Luque by decision here. I think that's a very underrated pick. I don't know why Kevin Holland is a favorite. How could you trust in Kevin Holland in Big 2025? I don't see it. Okay, moving on. Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. Now, Mario Bautista is gonna win this fight. Okay, I really don't know much about Patchy Mix. I really can't. I don't really watch the B League. But I just believe in Mauro Bautista's well-roundedness. He's good, all right. He's very exciting. He's underrated, and that Jose Aldo performance kind of like destroyed his entire run and all of his hype. And he does have a 39-inch leg reach advantage. I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, Mario, but he's good, man. I just think his well-rounded style will do good at neutralizing Patchy Mix's finishability. and I just don't see Patrick Mix like able to find a critical moment of success that he needs to finish the fight. And I think Bautista will get the decision. Yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Moving on. Calvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Jesus Christ, look at their bodies. Oh my goodness, look at the state of these guys. Right now they look kind of like crazy, but bro, when they're in the octagon, you're gonna be like, how are they in the same weight class? Right? Joe Pyfer is gonna win. We all know this, all right? He's way bigger. He's got all the physical advantages. He's way younger. He's got less miles on the clock. He's training with Sean Brady, who's able to finish Calvin Gastelum. And Calvin is just not disciplined. He's just not disciplined as a fighter. Um, and I feel like Joe Pyfer is. He's fueled by sodium. He got his last fight canceled, which I feel like would motivate him more even for this fight. And yeah, I'm not gonna get into the techniques too much. They kind of have a kind of similar boxing style, but Joe Pyfer's got way more power. He's got that forward escort power, and honestly, I can see him subbing him. I can see Pyfer subbing Gastelum. That's the only way I see him winning by finish. I don't think he's gonna, unless Gastelum has really declined. Um, but I could see Pyfer hurting Gastelum, like stunning him, and they're kind of at range, and Joe Pyfer senses it, so he started hunting him down. Gastelum kind of wins back. They kind of go into a wild exchange, and Gastelum maybe shoots a takedown, and Pyfer goes for a finish. I can see him getting that front choke on Gastelum, kind of like a guillotine or like a ninja choke or a Darce choke type of submission on Gastelum. But I think Joe Pyfer should be able to win this by either that or like a beating, like a big beating, and he finishes him by TKO in the third round. So I got Joe Pyfer by second or third round finish. Moving on to the co-main event: Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. Let's get the elephant of the room. Let's mention that elephant of the room. Get that out of the way. All right. We will be buying the Pena custom shorts. All right. Let's get one thing straight. Okay. But in all seriousness, why is Kayla Harrison a minus 750 favorite? She is not Amanda Nunes. She's actually not that good. I do think I'm gonna pick Pena confidently, and I know I'm picking Pena here. I know I'm picking Juliana Pena, fucking go gadget punches. But I think Pena will be able to get it done just by having good cardio. I think she's hungry. I think she wants that Nunes trilogy, and she's the one making this fight. Look, and I know Kayla Harrison has a good style against Pena to be able to take her down and beat on her. Um, Fuck, am I really gonna pick Julian? Fuck it. We're going Pena, fourth round sub. All right. Or I could see her getting like a pitter patch punch TKO on like a Kayla Harrison that's just gassed out of her belief. I think Kayla Harrison is way too big for the division. I think it's a fucking miracle that she hasn't missed weight or gassed out terribly or had a horrible weight cut. And I think that one extra pound, that's gonna make a difference, dude. And I think Pena is going to be overwhelming her, and I think that she might beat Nunes in a trilogy too. Nunes is too old, and her legs are fucking shot. That's all right. Like, might be a crazy take. It might fucking completely fold, but we'll see. I do think Pena should be at least like way, way smaller of an underdog here. Maybe like plus 300, plus 200. Minus 750 for Kayla Harrison's crazy. Moving on to the main event. Again, the odds here. I do think Marab obviously should be the favorite, but minus 325 for somebody like Marab is just kind of insane in my opinion. But let me just say this. Everything in this fight is going against Marab, all right? Sean is the one that knows he knew as soon as he lost, he probably knew, yeah, I'm getting that rematch. So as soon as he got, his body corrected, he's back to training for Marab, okay? Marab has had to fight at 306 and then 311 and then now 316. That's a couple of months in between all of these fights. I think the UFC is setting up Marab they're trying to elbow him. They're trying to rush. They're kind of overworking Marab into this fight. And with him, Marab, the type of fights he has, like with that Umar fight, that was a war. That was like that takes a toll on your body. And with Marab, he likes to train a lot. I think all of that is going to show. Sean O'Malley has all of the weapons to be able to defeat Marab. The teeps to the knee, those are great for stopping the pressure. The body kicks, the knee up the middle. He can find the left hook that Marab has shown weakness to. But can I pick a KO that might or might not happen against Marab? That can I base my entire pick off of that? I don't think so. I think Marab is the right pick here. I think Marab is just going to be able to neutralize Sean O'Malley's striking. And I think one thing that's different from that last fight is I think Sean O'Malley is going to look to get to the cage and try to see if he can only get taken down around the cage. And I think once that happens, Marab will start Marabing way more. The 306, the first fight between those two was very different. It was very, very like, like when Rob is getting a lot of control time instead of getting a bunch of takedowns, that's different than what usually happens. And it's because it happened in the middle of the octagon. Sean wasn't confident in standing up. And I think if he starts standing up, Marab will just take him down again, take him down again, take him down again. Okay? I'm operating under the assumption that Marab is going to come in at least 80% of himself and be that guy that, defeated Piotr Yan, Jose Aldo, Henry Cejudo, O'Malley the first time, and Umar. I believe that he's gonna be able to show up. I can't base my pick off of. Yeah, I think Marab is gonna not come in at 100%, and Sean is gonna come in at 100%. Even though it's true, it's a factor. I just got to go with Marab by decision here. But if O'Malley gets a second round KO, I really wouldn't like be surprised. That's why I don't think this fight is actually that like crazy to me. It's kind of like not exciting because it's like they're setting up Marab to be beaten by Sean O'Malley. So if O'Malley beats him, it's kind of like yeah, but like you had all the advantages, bro. Like you know. But those are my picks for UFC 316. Let me know what y'all think, and I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace out.